What's up, YouTube? Robert the Monster Among Marks Drap here, and I'm back again with my good friend and tag team partner, Sierra. How we doing today?
How does it feel to be in control again? I know I kind of threw you off the rails last night.
Yeah, it's okay though. The blind tag can be
I
okay.
gotta admit, I did the intro pretty well. I did the intro pretty well. I even
You
gave
damn
a little shout out to your gaming channel.
You did. It was a damn good intro. I will never take away from somebody who does amazing work. So
I will be stealing the NXT intro from now on. Then
we'll see. But tonight we're going to talk news and rumors, all things WWE, both Raw, SmackDown, NXT, 205, and
I'm stealing the indie scene.
And she's bringing in the indie scene because we don't normally cover it, but I do have a little bit of indie news even of my own. But for all of the
good catch on you. I can't believe I missed that.
Yeah, thank you. There's as always, we'd love for you guys to go on ahead, like, comment, subscribe, share all those wonderful things down below. Hit the bell for the notifications. Follow the show on Twitter at InMoshPit. Follow me at Rob's Random ROMs. Follow her at Heavy Metal Hippie. It's wonderful things that we both do here, and you can get to talk to us and say, hey, how you feeling, all that kind of stuff. I want to throw you off because this just happened right before I came on the air, and I got a new follower.
What's up, chicken butt?
The 2 Mark Crew.
Hey, excellence can accept excellence.
Yeah, when you put in the hard work, it is recognized. So, but speaking of hard work,
do try.
Speaking of hard work, I'm going to start off with this little piece of indie news. There's been a lot of chatter recently, according to CBSSports.com, between Lucha Underground stars and real-life brothers, Pentagon Jr. and Phoenix, that they might be making their way to WWE soon. Well, the writer says they want the plans to be on hold for a while. Major League Wrestling CEO Court Bauer recently responded to a question on Twitter by revealing that the brothers had been locked up with the company through the end of 2019. I don't watch Lucha Underground, but I know the names because these guys are good. I can't wait. I would love to see them. I would love to see them in a WWE ring.
I haven't watched a lot of Lucha Underground. I try to. It's just there's a lot of wrestling I try to keep up with between WWE and the indie scenes.
Oh yeah.
It took me forever to finish All In just because of my scheduling. I am a little bit familiar. I am familiar with Pentagon Jr. and oh god, I just blanked on the other guy's name.
Phoenix.
Phoenix, thank you. Is it sad to say that I actually got into Lucha Underground because of, I don't even know if he's on it anymore, but he was a contender on the Big Brother season, that Austin Madison guy. He was on NXT at that point in time. But both Pentagon and Phoenix's work is really good. I could see them working main card NXT 205 Live.
Right.
I mean, bring us a Lucha faction. Have Rey Mysterio be in charge of that.
A genuine
Andrade
Lucha.
Cien must be Andrade Cien must be like the bad boy of the group. It's just like, yeah. We throw in Lucha House Party. We throw in Pentagon. We throw in Phoenix. Sin Cara, his wife, can get in there too.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice. Let's see here. I gotta do a little bit of rearranging, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, because we're not, 100. Oh, you came back. Good. So I can put that on and take that off. So you're back. Kind of. No, you know what?
Well,
yeah.
So while you're setting up, I'll go ahead and go over this quick little merchandise news off of Pro Wrestling Tees.
Mm-hmm.
So for all of you lovely Bullet Club fans, supporters, if you probably do know, Marty Scurll, the villain, recently released a shirt that he actually had to get pulled from the Pro Wrestling Tees website due to not so hidden Nazi symbols. The
What?
design is by Pedro. Yeah. Um, the design is by Pedro Cavallo.
Hang on, let me see if I
He
can
does
get it.
work with various wrestling media outlets, WrestleCrate and Revolution Pro to be named particularly. Carvello actually has tweeted anti-Nazi content, suggesting that he is anti-Nazi himself. It seems that the graphic is just an unfortunate mistake on Carvello's part. The shirt has been pulled and replaced with a similar design, removing the lightning bolts from the shades.
Yeah, I think I see it. Well, no, I don't. I obviously don't see it, but I see the one that they replaced it with, because I'm currently looking through the all-knowing Google that hopefully had the answers, but I don't. I kind of see the one I think they replaced it with, and it's a
Oh yeah, my
nice.
Google feed is very helpful.
Oh yeah, I mean how you find the answer to a thing is always Google. You Google the answer, but in this case,
No,
it's
the
like
design is very cool, and I do see where they found the issue.
Yeah.
It was very, I don't think it was an unintentional mistake on the artist's part. He probably wasn't thinking that. Probably didn't even realize that, lightning bolts we associate with so many things.
Yeah, I think that in this case it may have been just he thought, "Oh, let's put lightning bolts right here. It'll look really cool." And the artist was like, "Sure, let's do that."
It was supposed to be like a shading thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and then when they looked at the variant placement, not the fact that they had lightning bolts, but they had the lightning bolts be the shape that they were in that direction, it's like, oh shit, that's not good. And that's why it got pulled, which is perfectly fine.
What do you have up to bat next?
Let's talk about our dear friend and the big reason for why you kind of want to watch Monday Night Raw coming up here on October 1st. We have, according to PW Insider, courtesy of Cage Side Seats, Shawn Michaels will return on Raw for the October 1st show to hype yet further the match between Triple H and the Dead Man. However, this is also going to be the stepping stone for him coming back into the ring again. And the reason that this is so is because apparently with the money that they're getting from the, what is it called, Crown Jewel, that it has been the likely decision, the likely factors which drove Michaels to come out of retirement, and for that matter, for Brock Lesnar to return for another match.
Yeah, I've skimmed on this. It was originally reported like last Wednesday by Meltzer that it was speculated HBK was going to be returning to tag with Triple H against the Brothers of Destruction. He mentioned the money, that it was too good to turn down.
I mean, yeah.
But he did confirm this week, as you said, that at Crown Jewel we'll see that tag match. And Super Showdown would be the ripple effect to it.
The catalyst.
Did you mention that the October 1st Raw is actually technically the go-home show for Super Showdown?
I did not, but it is in Seattle to promote it. So I think that being the location is very optimum, especially for a lot of the older guys like Shawn Michaels, where traveling any great length is not good on the body. But let's see here.
No, those business class seats and suites and first class seats are real nice. I think they'll be taking real good getting over to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, with the money that they got, they probably got a G5 waiting for each half of the roster that's allowed to go.
So, would you mind if I took a turn into my trainer corner?
Go for it.
So we do have a couple new statuses on injuries. Let me go ahead and start with an injury update. Sami Zayn is actually expected to make his first WWE-related post-surgery appearances this fall. He is advertised for the grand opening of Adventureland in Blackwood, New Jersey on September 29th.
That sounds good.
And there's a free signing at New York Comic Con on October 6th. Unfortunately, he's still expected to be out of action until after Mania 35, so that's going to be the Mania in 2019.
Yeah, that's
So this
not fun.
upcoming Mania. New developments. Alexa Bliss was pulled from the Mixed Match Challenge this week after she complained of a numbness in her left arm. She's only been cleared for minimal exertion, which means she won't be competing in matches anytime soon. She'll probably be doing the managerial position that she did, like she did on Raw this week. WWE could probably spin this into a kayfabe, saying that it was Rousey's armbar that caused the numbness, but when in actuality, this could be related to spine or neck issues. She'll still be, as I said, she'll still be at the shows. Another woman in WWE, this morning from WWE, Sasha Banks has been hurt. She's been pulled from the Mixed Match Challenge, and Mickie James will replace her to tag with Bobby Lashley. This comes literally days after Alexa Bliss being pulled from the challenge, which I should probably mention. Alexa Bliss is allowed to return to the Mixed Match Challenge once she's fully cleared. Sasha Banks has been pulled from the entire thing. There's 16 weeks of the Mixed Match Challenge. We've gone through 2 already, so that's 14 weeks without Banks being on the Mixed Match Challenge. There's been no word on what the injury is. It could be a legitimate injury, but it could also be WWE trying to kayfabe their medical reports like they like to do once in a while. And they could potentially be pulling some of the women to prepare for Evolution.
Maybe. Personally, I wish both of those women speedy recovery, because obviously being injured in and of itself is never fun. And speaking of being injured,
you said
because
that you
we're
had an injury report that I missed.
Yup. I have to, before I read this, stamp out a massive spoiler warning. This is concerning the latest updates of the NXT tapings. So you gotta.
That's why I didn't catch it. I didn't want to catch the spoilers.
Yeah, sorry. We're going there. For those of you who don't care or have already read this, apparently Britt Baker was slotted to make her long-awaited NXT debut alongside her boyfriend Adam Cole. Now, she's actually a real-life dentist and is fully accredited. And
she finally got that accreditation over the summer.
Yep, and she's supposed to be, like, really good in the ring. However, on September 20th, it was confirmed that she suffered a dislocation of her shoulder. She took on former women's champion Shayna Baszler. And when the match ended prematurely, the crowd believed it was part of the show before it was later revealed that Baker had dislocated the shoulder. She will be sidelined over the next few weeks as WWE assesses her injury, but it's thought that now she will make her debut on NXT on the NXT brand. She could be seen as the newest addition to the locker room. So she'll still be on camera. It's just she's not going to be in the ring at the moment. And personally, I have to say, we look at
Baker's personality and what the fans know of her just based on her indie cred and her being Adam Cole's lovey. She could immediately just come in as a managerial role. She wouldn't need to have this huge splash as a match.
Mm-hmm.
She could probably do it on her own before really truly having to get in the ring. And we also have to remember, it is a dislocated shoulder, which best case scenario, that's a couple weeks. We have to think back to, what was it, 2016 SummerSlam, Balor versus Rollins. We thought that the injury Finn sustained was originally just a dislocated shoulder. It ended up tearing a bunch of the muscles and the ligaments in his arm, keeping him out for 8 months. It could be as simple as the dislocated shoulder or as severe as Balor's case.
I hope I hope that it's not. And in thinking about this, you're not completely wrong. I would love to see it go that way, especially because there are a lot more people that have indie cred than I do, and I will kind of defer to NXT as more of my
it's your gateway.
Like indie 2.0, basically.
It's
yeah.
your gateway into. I got you.
Yeah.
But speaking of indie, let me move on to unless you weren't finished with that story.
No. I got nothing.
Let me move on to the soon-to-be free agent Cody Rhodes. So recently, Cody Rhodes spoke on the NWA 10 Pounds of Gold YouTube show, and he was asked about his impending future, knowing that January 1st is the first official day as a free agent. And he says, and I quote, "January 1st is a very tricky day. We live in a, I guess it's a taboo to talk about it, but I'm okay to talk about it. I become a free agent. And looking at how this year went with my exclusivity in Ring of Honor, how much fun I had, and how much challenge I was presented, looking at what I did with New Japan Pro Wrestling, looking at what happened with All In, there was no way to map out last year. No way. So I feel like I'm so found, but I'm also so lost at the same time. I got to share this moment with 11,000 people to become the NWA World's Champion. Everything right about wrestling was in that moment. So no matter where I go, whether I stay with Ring of Honor, whether I go to WWE, whether I commit to New Japan full-time, or whether I just become the NWA World's Champion, traveling the globe, carrying the 10 pounds of gold, taking Jack Briscoe photos everywhere, I can't map it out. It's tough, and I think the only thing I know to do in this case is what I did last year, and is what I'm going to do this year, and that's go with my gut." So we didn't get a conclusive answer out of Cody Rhodes, but it seems that he's really taking in his possibilities, because he even name-dropped WWE, which he left because he wasn't getting used. The family name wasn't getting the respect it deserves.
Yeah.
But to see him leave WWE in the state that he left, to see him blow up as big as he did in the Indies. I remember the announcement when Cody Rhodes joined Bullet Club, the iconic match where it was Kenny, Cody, who's the leader. We get All In. We're getting All In 2.0, Double or Nothing, at
I can't
Madison
wait.
Square Garden.
Hang on.
Just to see what he's doing. Sorry. But to see what he's doing and what his potential is after what's all said and done, he will be the next generation. I feel like the Rhodes brothers have really struggled living in the shadow of their father. And Cody is starting to really outshine for what he's doing on the indie scene.
Oh yeah, no, there's no doubt that Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, and Cody Rhodes
Marto Skrull,
like the entire
Club and other.
Yeah, these guys have redefined why you want to watch indie products, and have indeed made it a thing to behold. Why you want to keep doing this? But
speaking of indie darling, though, you know, Cassius Ohno / Chris Hero just recently celebrated his 20th anniversary of like his first match as a wrestler.
I did not.
Isn't that amazing?
That's hardcore right there, and not a lot of guys can say that they've been that far.
Like he tried out for WCW and ECW. How crazy is that to think?
That's nuts.
Do you have any other news? Because I think I have a snippet, but I think you might have the same snippet I do.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk here in a minute about
a masked luchador?
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about him here in a second, but I kind of wanted to give my thoughts on your story with Cody Rhodes. In that,
oh shit! I'm sorry, I cut you off.
It's okay, it happens. Here's for me the one thing that gets me with Cody. I love him to death, and in WWE, he'd have pretty much. I think that when he comes back in, I think he'd be given a blank check to do what he wanted for 3 months, very much like what Matt did with his shit. But
yep, that's what I was about to point that out.
Yeah, in my head, I want him to stay away. I want him to keep proving WWE wrong. That they were that they were fucking stupid for releasing him, never listening to what he had to say, for not doing what they needed to do to make him happy. And by having this association with some of the greatest wrestlers on the face of the planet, it gives him a good reason to continue going, you know, to keep being the person that he is. And
I mean, because he's already proved WWE wrong.
Yeah.
Just by what he's done the last 2 years.
And with these guys, and like I said, I don't want to, as much as it's very cool to see a lot of these guys go and do their own things and then come into the fold of WWE and do things with guys we know in the brand. I gotta say, I hope none of the current Bullet Club sign. I don't want that for them, because I think that they're worth enough on their own that they don't need to go do it.
You bring up a very good point, because I was listening to another podcast. They made the same point when they were talking about Cody Rhodes. You know, Cody has worked with WWE, and he name dropped WWE in this, meaning that it's obviously an option that he's considering. WWE has probably contacted him at least once or twice.
Oh yeah. Well, the amount of the money that they make,
and even the Young Bucks, they've been contacted multiple times by the WWE. WWE wants Young Bucks. Kenny Omega was with WWE in the developmental era of everything.
Back when it was a reality show.
I could see, way before.
Yeah, see.
Back when they were just doing shows at armories in the very northwest corners.
Ouch.
So I could see quite a few of the members of Bullet Club eventually coming over to WWE, much like Adam Cole did, much like Balor did, much like Styles did, much like Gallows and Anderson did. I could see the next generation coming in as they get older, but I don't know if I could ever see Kenny Omega coming. I think on his own, he could be the biggest star that WWE lost.
Oh yeah, no, it's guaranteed.
I don't think, because Kenny's even said he will stay at a company until he has reached the top of the top, and he's not reached the top of the top of New Japan yet.
And it'll be very hard for him to do so,
especially with Okada standing in his way.
Oh yeah,
I understand we had the Golden Elite and the Golden Lovers back, but let's face it, Okada, Kenny, those matches were amazing. Those matches were phenomenal. Okada comes out on top in the very end.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a little while before that happens, but you're not wrong. Let's see if I can get this to go. Our dear friend, the master...
Have one more story.
Yep, the last story that I think we're going to be doing for tonight is the master of the 619 may be coming back to the WWE. That's right. Rey Mysterio, at age 43, has actually signed an...
He's younger than my mother.
I know. Has reportedly agreed to a deal. According to PW Insider, who were first to break the news, and this is off of CBSSports.com, Mysterio has locked in his return to the company. The former heavyweight champion reportedly agreed to a 2-year deal with WWE, although there was a minor disagreement to work through to get it completed. Reportedly, Mysterio desired to sign an 18-month contract as opposed to a 24-month agreement. However, the two sides apparently met in the middle by allowing Mysterio to give notice of departure at 18 months if he does plan on moving on when the time comes. He was last seen at the Greatest Royal Rumble back in April. Prior to that, he appeared as a surprise competitor in the traditional Battle Royal. It's going to be wonderful to see him back in the ring. It's a great thing.
I would love to add on something real quick.
Go for it.
So you brought up that he signed the 2-year deal with the 6-month opt-out.
Mm-hmm.
But to tack on, Ring RSN says that Ray will have his return match at Crown Jewel in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, but his opponent could be the U.S. champion Shinsuke Nakamura. That's an instant dream match if that were to be the case.
I mean, the two men are nothing if not professionals. They've probably faced each other overseas because all the greats have done so, and to see them come into a match with a title on the line would be great. But here's the thing. They need to start working on the WWE United States Championship. And personally, I want to see it go the route of a on-TV, regularly defended championship. I think that's the direction it needs to be. The WWE Championship being defended on TV on a rare occasion is good, but we need a title there, a workhorse championship. And
well, no, I agree with you. I think whatever title isn't defended at pay-per-views, between those pay-per-views should have the screen time.
Mm-hmm. And give
like Paige did with the U.S. Championship this last week. She said the U.S. Championship didn't get featured, therefore we're going to have a U.S. match tonight.
Yeah, but I think...
And I would love to see the U.S. Championship hold a very major part in the storyline because it's not being featured on the pay-per-views.
Exactly. And moreover, to the point, it would give Shinsuke an opportunity to better develop the heel persona as champion. I think that's something he needs to do. Right now, we don't know what we're really getting because he had like one promo and Corey Graves does the rest of the work on the mic for him as far as telling you what his character is. Don't tell me what his character is. I want him to tell me what his character is. Like, give me your motivations.
You say that and you forget that there is a slight language barrier. Yes, Shinsuke's English has improved leaps and bounds since his days in NXT, but there's still that giant gap, and we hear it every time somebody says, "What?" Give the man props for trying because it's very hard. There's certain words, phrases, sounds that are not a part of the Japanese language. The same compared with the English language.
And
Sorry,
I don't disagree.
I took Japanese. I'm gonna rant.
No, go for it.
Japanese for 4 fucking years.
I completely understand that. I mean, I'm a weeb. Not as hardcore as some people, but I'm still a weeb, and I took a little bit of Japanese. I know how to say certain things in Japanese, so I understand that there's that English, being the language that it is extraordinarily hard for certain words to come across without the syllabic content that Japanese has. Japanese is some cases more simplified, some cases just far more complex. And
the 3 hardest languages in the world, in this order, Chinese being the hardest, English being the second hardest, and Japanese being the third hardest, because Japanese, in theory, is a simplified version of Chinese. Yeah,
and for him to attempt it as hard as he has is amazing. And personally, I wouldn't mind either him getting a manager that does all his mic work for him, which would be fine. Let him keep saying like knee to face. That's great. That section.
Do you think?
Go for it.
Do you think Nakamura could potentially be a Heyman guy?
Oh. Yeah, I could see it. I mean, very much so. Where if you brought Paul Heyman into anybody's character, really, with very few exceptions, his mic skills would so far outstrip everybody else in whatever feud that he's in, just kind of in that vacuum, that it would almost be unfair, but it would be a gem to watch. You know, I would love to see it. And
I think it's time Paul moves clients.
well, I
Brock
don't think
Lesnar has run his course.
you're not entirely wrong, and I do see Brock riding into the sunset very, very soon. As far as
Please, God, please.
even being on the air, I mean, it's like, okay, you've had your fun, you've done your job, you've done everything you wanted to do. You're a multi-time champion. Hell, you're still the youngest champion to ever be in the WWE. You've got records that
I thought
people
Orton
could
hold that title.
It wasn't.
Orton held that title.
I was pretty sure it was Orton until it was. I'm sorry. No, you're right. It was Orton until it was Lesnar until Orton, but he still has.
Well, didn't Tyler Bate break that too then? Because Tyler Bate won the UK Championship in 19.
I don't know.
Maybe he tied it with Orton.
Maybe, but either way.
I'll have to study up.
Yeah. Either way, it's still that he has certain records within the WWE that he will never, ever have to worry about. And he'll be in the record books forever. Now, that being said...
It's not just WWE with UFC.
Well, and...
I mean, he's one of the most successful trans-marginal, I don't know if that was the right word, stars to come from UFC and WWE, with Ronda and Shayna being rising upstarts. And the other two women of the four horsewomen. I've had a lot to drink.
Yeah. I haven't had enough. I'm about halfway. I'm about halfway through this can.
We don't want to talk about what glass this is.
Yeah. Let me get back to where I was. It's not so much that Brock would not be known in the rest of the world for a combat sport. There's no arguing that he wouldn't be. But here's the thing. I think that Paul Heyman is very much like Triple H. He doesn't want to let it go because this is what he loves. He built an entire brand that challenged WWE for years, that eventually got absorbed and turned into a lifelong position that he will never give up, and people don't want to see him go. And the day that he does decide to hang it up will be a dark day indeed, unless he's got a protege that he grooms himself and kind of passes on that lineage in the same fashion that many others do. That being said,
so
having him
that, and you say that, and you think that he's going to hang up the coattails at some point. No, I don't think that's what's going to happen. He is going to be a part of WWE, or whatever the WWE becomes in the next 30, 40 years, until we get the notification on those phone implants that'll be in our brains at that point in time that Heyman has passed. Yeah. They'll have the 10-bell salute. They'll have his greatest moments. We'll see CM Punk on the screen for once in our lives.
Maybe. But that's the thing. It's like, I think that he's going to do it until he can't travel anymore. And then he's going to hang it up, and he's going to move to the Performance Center. And either way, if he's doing it there, if he's doing it in front of a camera, it doesn't matter. As long as he's still on this mortal coil, he's going to keep doing the same job. Now, that being said, pairing him with Nakamura is a wonderful idea, a wonderful dream. But I think that would also. But I think that Nakamura shouldn't be on SmackDown for it to happen. I think that in order to keep
they need to do a superstar swap real quick.
Well, I think it's going to happen after Survivor Series. It's very much going to be like it was. It was going to be very much like it was last year, where after the Survivor Series, we're going to get a trade or two happening, and that's great.
I'm not angry about the superstar, whatever it's called.
I'm sorry.
I feel like at this point, with that, it needs to happen twice a year. WrestleMania and like SummerSlam, because there's not enough. They're not filtering enough of the competitors to keep interesting storylines. I love AJ Styles, but let me see something else.
In this case, I'm actually going to disagree with you. I think that it's not so much that they need fresh competitors every couple months, because that's true. You could use that, Or
Everybody needs a reset button.
I mean, WWE Creative could actually get their thumb out of their ass and actually do their fucking job and let these guys go. I mean, look at the feud with Samoa Joe. That one, given the proper climate, could run till WrestleMania, and I would not be angry. I would be supremely happy because these two guys can go back and forth, and as long as the makeup at some point changes in the near future, and personally I'm still crossing my fingers for Super Showdown to be that catalyst, to be that change that gets us the turn corner. Now the roles are reversed and AJ's chasing. It has to happen though. And they could
say that you could. Yes, they could absolutely work this storyline out till WrestleMania. But you have to think, do they have the time on TV to do that? Because I really don't think that the WWE Championship is going to be on AJ Styles at WrestleMania, nor do I think AJ Styles will be competing for that championship at WrestleMania. WrestleMania is going to be Miz versus Bryan for the WWE Championship. You watch.
I actually would love to see, because I don't disagree that having a heel on champ and having the baby face of Daniel Bryan chasing it wouldn't be amazing. But I think that
would be the sweetest victory, to have the babyface win on the grandest stage of them all.
Well, it very much seems like they're going to give him his comeuppance at Super Showdown. It very much seems that way. And I would be okay.
That number one contendership match.
No, I think it's. I think he is. We
disagree once again on the same subject.
And that's fine. That's great, actually. But in this case, I'm saying that Samoa Joe needs a lengthy title reign. It needs to happen. And having him go from Super Showdown to maybe Royal Rumble before that, I don't know if that's far enough, because I want to see a similar link to AJ Styles. But you're not wrong in saying that he needs more competition than just AJ.
That's exactly it. I mean, there's so many people that are so deserving of so many titles. I've been slurring the word "so" all night. That their plans that they have, it doesn't set up with everybody else's storylines, their bookings. WWE has messed up so many of my bookings, in my opinion. The only one I have standing at this point is Daniel Bryan and Miz at WrestleMania.
And you're gonna dig your heels in and hope you're right.
I'm going to fight and claw and snarl and howl like a feral freaking dog. Apparently, I'm a freaking either a hound of justice or a war dog at this point.
That's okay. Oh well. Just speaking of dogs, I gotta go.
Give me one of the main events at WrestleMania.
I love the passion. I love the enthusiasm. I love
at Rollins and Ambrose too, I feel, at WrestleMania.
Oh yeah, that's happening.
That's gonna happen. They need to jump the gun on that feud real quick.
It needs to happen pretty quick. Like
Dean's got to turn on Rollins after the Shield holds all the belts. Every time Rollins has a chair in his hand during a promo, I have flashbacks. Dramatic flashbacks.
Yeah. But speaking of, I gotta get out of here. I gotta go cook dinner. So, I want to thank you all for watching. Please leave your thoughts in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe, share, all those wonderful things down there while you're at it. Hit us up on Twitter at InMoshPit. Go ahead, hit her up at Heavy Metal Hippie. Hit me up at Rob's Random ROMs. And we will see you on Tuesday night for the Raw review. Later.
Bye.